L1, R1, R1, L2, 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 R2, 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 and kick. There we go. That's a cheat code if your cursor is on the name screen for switching to any character model. Toyoko is going to be showing off some swords for us. All the different stances. This is middle stance. Middle stance swords are the most average of your swords. Chuyoto normal sword is a middle stance sword. So here we have the basic combo, the basic strong attack moves. Everything just basically works. If they have follow-ups, it's a single follow-up. If it has a powerful move, it's either a sweep or this little combo thing. Sometimes you get another kind of a grab or attack. Yeah, some of them dash forward like this, others have a stab similar to other moves. Swords tend to have a forward move that goes long and a back move that goes wide. This is good training. Just get a normal stance sword, train it up, and that'll give you a pretty good idea of what the average sword should feel like. Most of them will give you a great deal of lift on their eventual straight triangle moves, so you can combo out with that. Okay, now into down stance. Down stance similarly has basic follow-ups. You have a frog splash for a jumping move. The back move is a little slow and a little wide. The jumping move, you jackknife in the middle. This one has a basic follow-up. Everything has a little more wind-up to it, but like with this, we get a stab and retreat, so we have a little more control over our position and can get out of the way of certain moves just by where we are when we do the move. Of course, end up on the ground a lot more than I mean to. There are some powerful moves available from down stance as well. On this sword, stab, then stab again is probably about as powerful as I'm going to get. The R1 plus triangle move is usually your throw or your power move, but here it's just like a trip. Of course, the basic combo, the 1, 2, 3, back and weak attack will give you this little poke. Some of the wilder moves look really freaking cool. Those two middle parts, in fact the last 3 follow-up moves are all kicks, so they're a lot harder to block. Let's mule kick that guy off. Up stance. Up stance should probably feel a lot like neutral or middle stance. Rather than having a straight lift move, sometimes you have this leaping shoryuken almost, with some additional follow-ups. Upstance swords tend to have much more power, just the neutral moves are more powerful. This is a throw. You can get that on the hammer as well. Some upstance swords have a great deal of additional follow-up attacks, where your basic move will do 60 damage, the upstance version of it will do 100. You've probably seen Karide do this a lot, it's his favorite thing. I don't like it all that much. It'll tend to break your sword. You're just doing this number again and again. It can be interrupted pretty easily. Of course, holding the stab move makes it a more powerful one and knocks this guy right out. Side stance. The basic 1, 2, 3. It's a little slower than neutral. A lot of side stance has little projectiles and very broad, sweeping moves to it. The jump attack is pretty good because it comes out really fast. It still has the ability to lift. There's more of the projectile. And sometimes throwing a projectile is what you want. It's better to have one than not. There are a couple of throws. the specific sword I'm using is the Niitakeyama, which is not fully upgraded here, because before it gets fully upgraded, it has a broader, well, a more simple range of moves that you see on both side stance swords. You see how the sword is being held back there? It's actually active, so if anyone's standing on it or if it's going through a corpse, it'll rack up damage. One of the problems is that's a punch instead of a kick, which will not pick up money or other things on the ground. A lot of side stance moves have a setup and then an alternate, so you can kick out of that rather than move. Okay, this is Zangetsu, which is the best ninja sword. Has all of the ninja sword moves. The problem with ninja is that its basic stuff, well, a couple problems really. The basic stuff is kind of weird and leaves you turned around. It's hard to do basic sword, 1-2-3 combo, block, pull, push kind of combat, and you find yourself jumping around a lot. That said, the Zangetsu itself has a lot of moves. That one right there allows you to spin around and do a wide attack, which other ninja swords don't have. They don't have any wide moves, but instead they just sort of backflip rather than doing a broad move. You can flip out, jump around all over the place. Zangetsu has the best projectile, if you're into that kind of thing. It has a great deal of versatility, you're very fast, you have a lot of options. What you don't have is power. I'm fighting against the same guys with similar swords here, a similar damage output, power level kinds of things, but I have to do all this flippy stuff in order to get some of them knocked out, whereas other swords could just do one move and take all these guys' health. Heck of a lot of fun there. Of course, the best reason to use the Zangetsu, which is the best ninja sword, not this throw, it does have a throw, again, versatility. And throws are pretty good when your opponents are blocking too much, or when you can get in close. The best reason is right here. Oh yes. Probably caught Hyuga doing that once or twice. It's crazy, and you flip out, and you feel great. Even has a follow-up. The one-hand stance is what Kicho and Chelsea and some of the government guys use. They're pretty light on your feet. It still has a basic 1-2-3 combo, albeit it feels a little laggier than the middle stance or up stance. The kicks are really good. This jumping, back kick, regular kick. It has the regular lift moves. The stab move is pretty quick. And one-hand swords tend to have a lot of follow-ups in terms of not only just the stab kick here, but also up like the Shoryuken hold move, and that has a kick follow-up. If you like doing combo inputs, then you'll probably like one hand. I don't like it as much, so I struggle with these a little. Also because the direction of your opponent changes from opponent to opponent. So it's easier to hold toward someone than it is to hold away. And some of the follow-ups require a lot of switching back and forth between things. But here's the full combo. Back, and then slap, and then cut. The jumping attack changes character depending on how close to the ground you are. So that's the full one, and then if you're closer, it'll just sort of slam. And those are the swords. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed Way of the Samurai.